Okay, let's get serious now. Hi. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe if you have not already. Much appreciated. Like this and share it to some people. Because this is about what I hate about everyone and their sun sign. Like, what is up with everyone thinking that you are your sun sign? Okay? Like, just because the newspapers, that's what they got going on. The newspaper sun sign, astrology reading is crap. Okay? C-R-A-P. Crap. Because it's so simplified and dumbed down for the sheeple people that there's not really going to be any truth to it at all. At all. It's too general. Too general. Okay? So, when looking at a natal chart, because in astrology, they use a natal chart, and there's not just your sun on there. There's your sun, there's your moon, there's Mercury, Venus, well, Earth isn't on there, but never mind, Earth, Jupiter, and Saturn, and Neptune, and Pluto, and all these planets are all just on our charts, okay? And another thing is that in astrology, yes, the sun is considered a planet, okay? It's one of the, like, main 7 of the planets, with, like, Pluto and Uranus being, like, their outer planets that, like, you can't see with the naked eye, which is why, like, many people from ancient times only used the visible 7, which were, let me recount this just so we get this clear. The sun, which is like how you project yourself to the world, how you want to be seen, or kind of like your natural filter of how you will project, no matter how, that's just how people will see you. But that's not really who you are, because your moon sign is your consciousness. It's like the yin and the yang, with the sun and the moon, like light and darkness, the exterior and the interior, and the moon is like how you would think. It's like your deeper conscious self, not necessarily the one that goes out in the world. But then there's just 2 of them, because then you got your Mercury, that's how you communicate to people out in the world. So if you had, like, for me, I got Mercury in Gemini, and my moon's in Gemini, so that's just like, fuck. There's a lot going on. It means that my moon, because that's how I think, is like a Gemini. So, when you have Gemini in your sun sign, it can make you just talk too much. But if you have it in your moon sign, it means that your mind just never shuts up. And I almost wish I could trade you my moon sign, people. Like, if any of you people want to trade me, but it's not possible, because that's where the stars were when I was born. So it's a little unfair, but can't change any of that, can we? Because that's our natal chart. That's our birth chart. That's like our little fingerprint of the stars when we were born. Okay, so Mercury is how we communicate. Venus is like love. But not like love like raw, hardcore, just like sexual. It's like the romantic elements, the passion, the, like, romance, like all the mushy, lovey-dovey stuff, like roses and like flowers and chocolates and candles. That's Venus. But then we also want to bring in Mars now. Mars can be sexual energy too, but it's more like the lowest chakra, the red root chakra, where it's just like the need to reproduce, and wham bam, thank you ma'am, see you later. That's kind of how Mars is about, and depending where your Mars is placed, it's going to have a totally different effect on your sex, and not just how, and another intricate thing about all this is that you can't just analyze a sign all by itself. Just like I was saying, you can't judge a person by a sun sign, or that there's more to it than just the sun. Well, you have to look how they're all cross-referenced in the chart too. So if you have a whole bunch of planets in a certain sign, that's going to really amp up that sign. If you have them perfectly across from each other in a chart. They can be kind of more in harmony but cause detriment, which is bad, because the ruling planet, if it's opposed, it can have not necessarily negative. People in our world would see it as being negative, but it just would mean that their life would have a little more challenges in it if you have planets that are in opposition to each other. There's also lots of other complicated terms. Wait, I'll go finish going through the planets first. So I mentioned the Sun, and I mentioned the Moon, and I mentioned Mercury, and Venus, and Mars. Then there's also Jupiter. It's the one that looks like a 4, fancy 4, and it means growth and expansion. So wherever it is in your chart, it's basically just going to be like a powerhouse of energy, and it's best friends with the Sun. Okay, like it is always good in a chart, pretty much. Like there can be times where it might throw things off, where if it was like amping up someone's ego, for example, well, that would be a bad thing. Or like amping up someone's like sexual lust and desire, well, that could be a bad thing in a person's chart if their other elements in the chart can't handle the Jupiter's expansiveness, because Jupiter is all about growth and expansion and luck. So Jupiter is usually a really good thing in the chart. Then there's Saturn, and Saturn well, stands for Satan. Sorry, all you Saturnalian people out there, but in the chart, in the natal wheel, just going by what 90% of astrologers or 99% of them out there say and teach, is that Saturn is a malefic planet, and Saturn rules Saturday and is Satan. Okay, that's where the word comes from. Or like if you look up the Saturnalia with the Greeks and Romans and all that, they had like huge like sex orgies and like things that were very you know, of the Saturn nature, because it's all, Saturn is the physical world. So like time, learning, kind of like Jupiter, but in the sense where there's no emotion. It's get her done and logic and analytics. People born with this sign can be very, very intelligent, because there's no evil people, okay? There's just the chart. And that's another thing, that a lot of things have been lost through religion, is that people are all talking about, we have like with Christianity and Judaism and all that. I was talking about a man in the fluffy clouds that's going to come down and save you someday. In astrology, it is a religion pretty much. And you know who saves you? You. It's up to you. Your body's your temple. Your mind, it's all yours. You have responsibility for it. And yeah, it's pretty important in the grander schemes. And I believe in reincarnation. Hopefully you do. Like this video if you do. Maybe we're from a past life or something. But yeah, I thought I ran through most of the planets there, what they mean. Pluto represents like death and change and transformation. And what's the last one? And Uranus. And Uranus is like it's probably the most taboo or kinky symbol. So wherever that is in your chart, you can have reflections of that too. Also, if things are in a trine or square, or a sextile. There's really complicated names that basically just mean if things are spaced in a triangle, a square, or like a hexagram, I think. Depends how they're placed in the chart. And if they're in conjunction, it means that they're like overlapping. So they might be in the exact same position in your chart. And if they're in opposition, it means they're in opposite parts of the chart. Go figure. But yeah, please like this video. Let me know your thoughts on astrology. I think it's really important because it lets, if you don't know your chart and you study it, you'll get to know yourself better. And you can grow as a person better. And like faster, because it decodes you. But yeah, I hope you've liked this. Mwah. Laters.